All right. All right. Peace and shalom, family. Peace and shalom. It's your brother Divine Prospect, Kingdom Harbinger Ministries back in the building. What's going on? Hey, y'all thought this was a Freestyle Friday coming today? Nah. We got a special treat for y'all today. No pun intended, because of what today is. We got to equip y'all for what you're about to face tonight and in successive years. Now, we typically do one of these sessions like every other year. We'll do a session where we're banging on Halloween and we're pulling it apart thread by thread and unraveling it for what it is. And then you take what you see after we like the mummy, like we unravel it. And then you show the body underneath this people to see how dead, decaying, and how you are misappropriating these dead culture. So these dead cultures have nothing to do with you. It's a form of cultural misappropriation. And we have to yield from that. But I'm going to go into it today, provide some resources, one of my own that I curated specifically for this particular show, and then giving you some other primary sources you can dive into in regards to the history and origins of Hallows Eve, Halloween, All Saints Eve. We'll get into it in a second. See what the dangers of engaging in this Halloween is and how we got to be objectively aware and conscious of what people are putting their kids through. You putting them through a rite of passage so you can hand them over to the God of this world, or the gods of this world, plural. Nowhere in scripture does Yah sanction us to engage in the festivals and the holidays, set apart days of other nations and other cultures. He tells us not to do so. But yet so many of us who are the lost sheep of Israel are ignorant of this and continue to put our kids through these rituals every year. Okay. So we're going to get into it. We're going to discuss it all. Okay. Let me just let me get everything situated real quick. Make sure we're front and center. I'll fix this camera a little bit. There we go. This thing is super sensitive. All right. Before we begin, hit 1 if you can hear me. Hit 1 if you can hear me. Hit 1 if you can see me. Hit 1 if you can see me. All praises to the Most High. Yah Shalom to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Brother Mac, Keenan Clayton Jr., Scott Garrett Headley, Gen 49-10, Sakar the Young Lion, Shalom Aleichem More and Mishpacha. This is Achi Kohani. Shalom. Make sure you guys share this video. Thumb it up if you enjoy it. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. Why are you visiting us, coming to our house every weekend, coming to our house for the barbecue, for the football game, and so forth, and you're not part of the family yet? Come on, bro. Can't be doing that. Can't do it now. You're not part of the clique. Nah, y'all got to hit subscribe. If you're here, brand new, hit subscribe. If you just coming on, hit subscribe. If you've been here for a while, you hit subscribe. Why you not subscribed yet? Same thing we were telling you about the Patreon, right? But we about to get it. All right, let's get started. So yesterday, as most of y'all are aware, we had our discussion on Yom Kippur, right? Or Yom Kippur. We had our discussion on that. Me and a good elder, Dr. Michael Lynch, or Ben Yisrael, had a great conversation, cordial, respectful, good elder. I have nothing negative to say about him. He's an elder of good reputation from what I've heard from others that know him personally. We had a great discussion. We ended off on a cliffhanger. So definitely, as you know, there's going to be a part 2, but on top of that, we have other upcoming discussions as well. We got to revisit this Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh versus Enlil situation. That's still scheduled because we got to put these Anunnaki to bed. For real. Right. And then the preliminary discussion with my brother Zion Lex, he wants to discuss the oral tradition and the authority of the oral tradition and connecting the oral tradition we have today back to Moshe on Sinai. And we created a book in regards to that. So I'm definitely looking forward to that conversation with him. And then we're going to follow up on the Gematria and the Kabbalah. Definitely want to get into that. That's going to be a treat. I'm ready. But, we got to schedule it accordingly based on people's schedules and other things going on. You know what I'm saying? I also got an interview with an ex-Nubian who turned over to the truth. If y'all don't know who this person is, you probably don't know because I ain't really getting no details. But if some of y'all remember back in the day when there was a Nubian that said, I'm going to be food for the gods. When I engage in ancient pre-Israelite culture, I make myself food for the gods, the Anunnaki gods, the Sumerian gods, and that pantheon. If you go back and look up that video, you'll see an image of that brother on the thumbnail. So that brother has since, I think maybe 2 years or so ago, transitioned over to the Most High, came from the darkness to the light. Reached out to me and said, Divine, I want to give my testimony. I said, okay, brother, I got you. All right. I'm going to make sure that we showcase this, man. This is the real stuff. So I'm going to make sure we showcase this. So I'm going to bring the brother on. Also, he had a new revelation as well in his transition in this walk. So I want to discuss that with him too. So that's coming up soon. All right. Okay. So we have a lot of other conversations coming up, discussions coming up, debates coming up. So I want to make sure I keep everything going. And then some people from the past that was on the show, they're asking to come back on the show. So definitely want to set it up. I realize that y'all love debates and dialogues and discussion when I talk to other people. I mean, you're like when I talk too, but you like it even better when I bring somebody else on. And I understand that. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's the dynamic of two people going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And it's respectful. You can learn from both sides here. And there's no colorful language. There's no ad hominems. There's no disrespect. None of that. Even though I disagree with my guests, it's all in the spirit of how you convey the information. If you stand on the truth, why you gotta do that screaming, yelling, cursing and stuff for? Just bring out the information. Okay. All right. Next on the house keeping list, I'm going to bring it up real quick. So on the Patreon today, we have released the composite origins of the Quran, historical-critical perspectives on linguistic development, textual redaction, and interreligious borrowing. This book is a game changer to those who are unaware of the information. Again, all of my Quranic studies that I've done, I condensed it into this book, right? So I probably looked at maybe 30 plus references in regards to this situation here. And I pulled out maybe 14 of those references, 10 to 14 of those references, and condensed it into this work. So I put some of my information, and then I use some information that I learned from the text, and I put them into one work, and I made it scholarly, but accessible to a general audience, right? This is a really easy read. You can pick it up, knock it out on the weekend, make some notes. I also got a reader's guide. It makes it easier to go through the information, synthesize it, make sense of it, and ask critical questions in regards to it. And that ensures that you're learning and you're grasping and you're pulling the appropriate information from it, right? So this is available on the Patreon, www.patreon.com/Divine Prospect. So if you're not already subscribed to the Patreon, why not? You get access to this book or what I call my paper study that's in book format. You get access to it for free when you sign up for the Patreon. Now, if you're not signed up for the Patreon or you're a free member and you want access to this, go right to the shop on Patreon. So once you go to the home page or the landing page, you'll see at the very top, it'll say shop, click on shop, and you can order this for yourself. But if you ever encountered a Muslim, and a Muslim came to you and said, yeah, the Quran is in perfect Arabic, the Quran is untampered with, the Quran is directly from Allah, they'll say that to you, right? And I say, that is incorrect. Survey says that's incorrect. And I give them the work, but now I put it in book format to share it with you. So now you can give this work to them. All right. Because if they're going to subject the scriptures to textual criticism and historical and cultural influences, etc., well, we got to put the mirror back on you. Quran didn't get developed in a vacuum, just like the Bible didn't get developed in a vacuum. So we look at the ancient Near Eastern background that's contributed to these literary works that we hold as sacred scripts. Quran is not off the table. So this will definitely help you out if you are interested in sharing this with somebody you know that's in Islam, and in hopes this will get them to see the truth, and then they can read you as a living epistle about Yah and his reputation, his fame. That's why Exodus says, when we say, oh, do not take the Lord's name in vain. No, do not carry the fame or reputation of the deity. Do not put on his reputation as a child of Yah in vain or in emptiness, or make it of no effect. Because if you do so, it holds you guiltless. So that means when you deliver this with loving kindness, with passion, and you deliver this to them, and they read your life coupled with this work, Yah will draw them. One plants, one waters, Yah gives the increase. That's how we rock. Right? So this is one book of many in the series of, I would say, Islam that I'm going to be putting out. But this is the first one here. And again, it's a great read. It's a quick read, right? Because it's pretty much a book made out of the paper study that I put together. And you can knock it out in one weekend, right? It's not long. I think it's like 52 pages, something like that. It's very brief, right? And I put it in a format that you can actually digest. So it's going to be some academic references, technical terminology, but it's not going to be overwhelming to the point where you cannot follow. And again, if you're having difficulty, get the Reader's Guide. All right. So that's that book. Also, what dropped today, and y'all don't even know, I just dropped this like, oh, let me give it to y'all. The Delta Convergence, Prehistoric Afro-Asiatic Cohabitation and the Hybrid Genesis of Egyptian Civilization from the Nile's Dawn to the 25th Dynasty. This is a banger. Why is this a banger? Because I forgot who it was yesterday that said, Devon, are you going to do part 2 of the Minority Report? When he said that, I was like, yo, you know what? I got the notes and stuff for that, the research that I did. Yo, let me take that research, streamline it, format it, and let me put some polish on it. Let me create a cover. Let me create a title, subtitle. Let me put it out there and give you all the research. This is that. So until I get to that lecture of doing the Minority Report part 2, y'all can get the research in a bag right here. Now, I did all of this when I went on Sonetta's channel in 2015. I did that groundbreaking lecture. They saw nothing like that on that channel. Extremely well-resourced, well-researched, and the way we delivered it with passion. It was the chef's kiss on it, the cherry on top, right? And the main purpose of this is because there are people in the conscious community, Black conscious community, that side with Kemet and says, oh yeah, the Asiatics are invaders. The Asiatics was a plague on Egypt, and the Asiatic, well, they're just espousing pharaonic rhetoric and pharaonic propaganda, because this was only the perspective of a limited amount of pharaohs, starting from the New Kingdom on after the Hyksos expulsion. Prior to that, y'all didn't know that Semites been in the Delta since prehistoric times. That's why it says prehistory. I've discussed all this in the Minority Report. I talk about the Fayum Basin. I talk about the Rimday culture. I talk about how the Rimday culture actually predates the Badarian culture. And then we go on from there in prehistory period until we get up to history. The Narmer Stella, I get the context behind that. I give all of that, and I bring it all the way up to the Hyksos period. This I extended further into the 25th dynasty when the Nubians came on the scene, because the stock of native Egyptians that you see in the reliefs that are like burgundy colored, their stock actually comes from the south in Nubia. And then they migrated their way north, which is actually downhill. I'm going to say downhill, but migrated themselves north, which is actually lower in elevation, and made their way into what we know as ancient Egypt. So we're going to take it from their emergence from there and converging with these Semites that were in the Delta, right? That came from the east and settled in the Delta. And that cultural matrix became the breeding ground to produce a civilization. You can't have the native Egyptians without the Semites. You can't have the Semites in Egypt without the native Egyptians. And then also we had the peripheral groups, Tamil, or with what's called the Tabhu. That's with Brother Jabari says, which are the Libyans, what we call the Libyans, right? And then you have the Nubians, the Retinue Nubians, and others that's around that area. So what I do in here, I go in depth on it. And again, it's a scholarly study that I did that I put in book format. It has technical language in it. However, I have streamlined the text and the wording and the format so that way you can easily digest it. And there's also a reader's guide that I created. So you can all get that on the Patreon. The reader's guide is going to help you make your way through it, ask critical questions, be able to digest the content, put it in a good outline for you, etc. I took time to do all of this for y'all because I love y'all. And I want to make sure I produce work for the community. I'm going to submit this to ARCE, which is the American Research Center in Egypt, which is one of the societies I'm a part of. Just like the other one that I showed you, the Smoke for the Sky, Blood for the Deity. This is going to be for SBL, the Society of Biblical Literature. So I plan to put more and more work. So typically what they do, they have a paper calls. Instead, they call and they say, hey, we have a conference coming up, or hey, this is the time for you to submit your paper, A, B, and C. So I already have someone on deck to send over to them, so that way we can continue to get publishing in those spaces. I self-publish all of this. All of this will be on Amazon soon as well. But we have to be published. We have to have our work somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So all praise to the Most High. All right, so that's those two books. Again, go back on the Patreon, check them out. And then also, like I showed you, Smoke for the Sky, Blood for the Deities on here. The post-exilic invention of the oral Torah is on there. And from priestly crisis to public domain rights. This is the hottest one right now because of the discussion that's surrounding Yom Kippur. It is what it is. Everything is in there. Condensed everything, compacted it all in here. And then I made a recent post on Patreon that anybody could see, going into the priestly holiness code. What is that? Because, it came up in discussion yesterday when Dr. Michael mentioned it. He said, yeah, I remember you talking about the holiness code and how the holiness code. And then towards the end, I showed you one of the idioms or the phrases, a statute forever. But that statute forever is geared towards the public domain, not the priest. And I said, that's the language of the priestly holiness code. We can see the fingerprint, the signature of that throughout the Torah or the Pentateuch. And I made a post to show you how to identify it, what it is, how to identify it, and why do we come to that conclusion. Then I also give you all the scholars who have spoken on it, who are experts in that field. I lay it out for you in a post, I share for you. So I don't want to say stuff and it goes over people's head and they gloss over it. No, I say stuff because it's important for you to identify what's being said and being able to follow the conversation when that reference is made, right? Okay. All right, so that's that, family. Let's get to what we got to get to here today. Let me see. Lastly, is anything last? KHM Holistic Research Paradigm for Bible Study classes will be resuming next Tuesday. So make sure you get in class. How do you get in class? Go to Patreon, www.patreon.com/Divine Prospect. Sign up for the $50 tier and you will be automatically enrolled in class. That's where we break everything down. Now, when you get through the entire course, then you're going to see during our textual criticism portion, when we look at different manuscripts and different features and styles within the text, we're going to teach you how to identify these things in the class. I'm giving you what scholars go to universities for. And I'm bringing it to your TV, to your mobile phone, to your tablet. Okay. So get in class. KHM, Holistic Research Paradigm for Bible Study, popping off again next Tuesday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If all goes well, if anything happens, I'll make a post for the reschedule. If not, we on and cracking. All right. All right. Lastly, my KHM family, make sure you're listening out for those voicemails. Make sure you pick up the phone when we're calling. Make sure you are looking forward to our emails. If you don't hear from us by the end of next week, call us, text us, email us. All right. We want to get everybody back involved with the ministry so we can go into our communities remove the societal ills that are walling them away from the Most High, and be able to present to them what they need to have, right, in order to access the divine, in order to become autonomous, to restore their culture, to become a more close-knit community. These are all feature sets that Black people and brown people in the inner cities that we just don't have. So we're here to fix that. All praises. All right. All right. Sign up for KHM. Click the link in the description below if you want to get on board with us. All right. So that is everything. Oh, I think I have one more thing. Hold on one second. I do have one more thing. One more thing. Oh, did not mean to bring that up. I do have one more thing. Let's see if I can bring it up. Let me see. Is that everything? Let me see. Yeah, and that book that you just saw that I had on the screen, I'm gonna bring it back up. Not the last one before that. That one will be available, like I said, again, for you to get off for free from here we go. That you'll be able to get for free off of Patreon. All right, I want to share this real quick to remind y'all of this last item, and then we're gonna get cooking. I only got 30 minutes, so we're gonna run through it. It's not much. Again, I'm just gonna highlight what I created so that way you have it for reference. And finally, all the women in the community, don't forget the blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. 5 ways pre-exilic women process grief and trauma. Discover sacred rhythms and ancient healing practices in community, covenant, and body storytelling and restoration this November 2nd. That's this Sunday. At 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is being kicked off by Remarkable Leadership Academy, and this is the sister ministry to KHM. All right. So again, we want to make sure that we're providing something for everybody in the community to get involved in. This is for the sisters in the community. Please sign up. You send your emails to remarkableministries@gmail.com and get locked in. Man, that first session was fire, her. Right, it's more of an introduction, but it's leading into this next session, and there will be other subsequent sessions after that. But make sure y'all get in November 2nd. It's a lot of stuff that's going on. Need all y'all to get involved and participate. All right, all praises, all praises. Okay, all right. So let's get back to what we're here for. And it's mighty quiet in here, so I think some of y'all might be trick or treating right now. Hey, if you trick or treating, hit 1. We listen and we don't judge. That is foolish. That is nonsense. That excuses people to confess things that they're doing without consequences, without shame. That's crazy work, man. This culture is wicked as hell. But it's all good. Most I go and judge it. It's not my place. But I'm gonna call it as I see it. A spade is a spade. You know what I'm saying? All right. Oh, so Shakar. Okay, so we got one person who's trick-or-treating while we're chatting. All right. Hit a 2 if you're not trick-or-treating today. Hit 2. All right. I'm gonna go over this for y'all real quick. This is for y'all because I love my family. I love y'all. All right. Okay, let's get it popping. And we got to do it the KHM way, which means we got to be somewhat objective and scholarly, right? You know, when we present information, you know what I'm saying? We got to put something together. Yeah, we just got to do what we got to do. We got to do what we got to do. All right. Okay. So this is a work that I put together. It's very brief, and I kept it that way because and made it the language accessible, so that way you can share it with kids, right? So the parents have a guide they can share with their kids, and you can also share this with anybody you know in your Christian family that is engaging in Halloween today, because it's typically Christians that's engaging in Halloween. Let's keep it 100. It's typically Christians. Now, I've been to a church and they had Halloween in the basement. You know what I'm saying? I was just going crazy. I was like, oh, it's not on Sunday. I'm like, but it's Halloween. What the? Yo, it's wild work. I'm like, yo, the delusion is nuts. Delusion is crazy, bro. It's really crazy. It's really, really crazy, man. So let's get into it. All right, so this is the book that I put together, booklet that I put together. I'm gonna go over it real quick. It's gonna go over Halloween, the history, origins, Halloween, show you it over time, and then why we should not be engaging in it. All right, I made this specifically for this show. I made it specifically for us because we have a whole playlist over the years when we've been dealing with Halloween, speaking out against Halloween. I just took those notes and put it in the booklet format that I'm gonna hand out for free for y'all, so you can give it out to everybody else you want to give it out to. I don't care. All right. And then we got the primary sources from that as well. This is one good primary source. It came out almost 100 years ago by Ruth Edna Kelly, one of the earliest academic attempts to unraveling Halloween. Really good read here. Another one is called Trick or Treat, A History of Halloween by Lisa Morton. And another one is called Death Makes a Holiday, A Cultural History of Halloween by David J. Scott. Another great book. So I use 3 of these books in my paper, and I use other references as well in my paper, but these are the 3 main foundational references in my bibliography in regards to Halloween, right? From a scholarly, objective perspective. And then I have some other colorful stuff that I got from other sources as well, whether it's academic papers or whether it's sites online like Britannica, Encyclopedia Britannica, or history.com, which we've used in the past. So I put everything together, put my little spin on it with my notes, and then I produced this work for you guys. All right. So let's go into first page. Who's wearing who? How Halloween cosplays ancient rituals in modern form. I was thinking, I said, what am I gonna? Who's wearing who? I'm like, yo, that's fire. That's really fire. I'll put that joint together, you know what I'm saying? So, we all good. Dedication, acknowledgments, preface. The modern celebration of Halloween appears at first glance to be an innocuous evening ritual of playful masquerade, childlike anticipation, and communal festivity. In the glittering candy aisles and themed streaming marathons, one can mistake the holiday as an invention of consumer culture, an American spectacle of orange plastic and Halloween horror. Yet beneath its polished surface lies a complex, ancient, and spiritually charged past. To approach Halloween honestly requires acknowledging its ancient Celtic cosmology, its ritual vocabulary of death and liminality, its Christian re-engineering, and its modern adaptation into capitalist spectacle. The work does not argue against cultural celebration, but rather argues for cultural consciousness. Participation without awareness is not innocent. It is ritual performance without comprehension. Man, this book is fire. All praises. Let me give some shout outs real quick before we go in. I'm not going to read everything. I'm just going to take some excerpts from my book. If you want it, sign up for the Patreon and get access to it. All right. Once you sign up as a paid member or even as a free member, you can get access to this book. All right. This is really good stuff, man. I made it very short and condensed and concise and compact for y'all. Now, see somebody in chat asks, hey, Divine, what about printing? Can we get print copies of these books and these works that you're making? Yes, you can. Not yet. But when I publish them on Amazon, then I will create the physical books and then y'all can purchase it from Amazon. All right. It's only going to be like $4. It's not going to be that much. I think it's $4. That's how much it is right now. It's $3.99. It's going to be like $4 or $5, something like that. It's going to be very inexpensive. But like I said, I need to get it published first on Amazon and then get the 2 major ones published in ARCE's publishing and SBL's publishing. All right. And then I have another one I'm writing for ISAC. All right, this is the University of Chicago, used to be the Orient Institute. They renamed it, right? So it is what it is. All right, family. Sign up for the Patreon. Let's go. www.patreon.com/Divine Prospect to get your copy of this. But I use these words specifically because I'm like, I want to impress it in your mind. People always think that ignorance is bliss. And I'm like, no, ignorance is death. but a slow death. What does it mean to don a mask on a night historically tied to spirits, to carve symbols used to ward off ancestral beings, to offer sweets where once offerings to the dead were laid? This paper is an invitation, not to condemnation nor blind celebration, but to understanding. I had to frame it that way, so that way it's objective. I'm not here to tell y'all what to do and what not to do. Y'all gonna celebrate Halloween if y'all want to celebrate Halloween. It is what it is. Some of y'all are not celebrating it. Great. But I need to have a particular objective tone in here where I'm not coming off as disparaging against those who are celebrating Halloween. The goal is to give them the truth about it, give them some understanding. All I get understanding. So once they have the valid understanding, the conviction of the Ruach will turn them away from that holiday. I'm going to do this as the holiday series. I think this is a very good way to approach it now going forward. So we're going to do this for Thanksgiving. I'm going to do this for Christmas. I'm going to do this for New Year's. I'm going to do this for Valentine's Day. We're going to have a booklet for each one of those holidays. All right. We're going to call it the holiday series. All right. Thank you so much. Family still matters. I appreciate that, Sister Bar, for all your support. Thank you so much. All right. You want a hardcover book? Okay. I mean, if it's a hardcover, I got to put some more pages in it. Got to put maybe 12 or 14 more pages in it. All right. Let me give a couple more shout outs, man. Let me get some shout outs. Shout out to where we stop off at. We stopped off at here. Ron Shavat Ben Lewi. Shalom, Kim. What's going on? DJ Light. Shalom. Yes, DJ Light, the one from Sonetta. I think that was you, DJ Light, yesterday that asked me about the Minority Report. All right. Mars Green. Shalom. What's going on? Shalom Divine. I read something in the New Testament, and bro, I need clarity on this one. John 10:8. And who is Yahusha, or who was Yahusha talking about? Because the ones who came before home are the prophets, right? I got to look at what you're talking about. Sounds familiar, but I'll try to look at it. Let me get through this first. If I have time, I'll do it. If not, Mars Green, text me. The number is in the chat. That number is the ministry number, so it comes to me and a couple other people, but just text me or email me. And what I'll do is I'll give you a personal answer on that. I'll take my time, go through it, and I'll draft something up and I'll share it with you. All right. So yeah, so hit me on that. If I don't address it today on this show, hit me on that and I'll take care of that for you, brother. Okay. All right. All right. Shout out to who else we have in here? Johnny Yogushima. Shalom. Does the new covenant apply to people before Israelites? No, it does not apply to them. Their redemption, because they're from the lineage of Abraham, is tied to the work of the Messiah, who will redeem them, right, from the dead. But obviously they're dead, so they cannot engage in or enter into the new covenant, right? But they are partakers of it by proxy of the work that they did prior, which is their down payment to get into the new covenant. All right, shout out to Yadon Israel. Shalom, King. What's going on, brother? Thank you for revisiting us. Yah, pray. Shalom. Let me see who else we have in here. My brother, Shayarala. Chris, what's going on, King? Let me see. The AJH. Shalom. Goldie. Zahava. Shalom. Ben Y. Shalom. Let me see who else we got. Yasha. Yadid. Shalom. Let me see. I think it's Eric. Jaslyn Berry. Shalom says, all right. Ice you cold. Shalom. Let's get back in it. So the wording is very, very intentional. It seeks to trace the roots, rituals, and reinventions of Halloween and to challenge the reader to consider what it means to participate in traditions unclaimed by ancestry, theology, or cultural inheritance. All right. This is it right here. Sections 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we go into introduction, the night we borrow, Samhain, the Celtic midnight of summer's end, ritual liminality, when worlds touch, fire, fate, and fear, ritual technologies of Samhain, mass spirits and the human threshold, offerings, hospitality, and the ancestral dead, transition from pagan feast to Christian doctrine, All Hallowtide, sanctification of the threshold, medieval Europe, and the rise of soul cakes, the Reformation's shadow, Protestant suspicion, Irish diaspora, and the American transformation, pumpkins, mischief, and suburban rituals, modern Halloween as pop occult performance, horror, cinema, and ritualized death imagination, cultural appropriation and spiritual borrowing, identity play and psychological ritual space, commercialization, candy, costume, and capital, sociological risk, fear play, death play, and identity play, ethical reflections, what we perform, what we recall, and the conclusion, let the reader consider. I took my time to put all of that together for y'all. Right now, because this is still a work in process, meaning I still have to polish a few things. What we have in the chapters here does not line up word for word, but the essence is in the chapter that you see in the rest of the book. So I do have to clean that up a little bit, but I'll do so before making it public to y'all. All right. So I'll try to clean it up tonight so that y'all have it and you'll have access to it. All right. Share it with a Christian that you know, right? Share it with a Muslim that you know that be keeping these holidays and feasts. Share it with an agnostic or atheist you know, Buddhist that you know. You know what I'm saying? A Hindu that you know. I share this with them, right? Because I know they're all engaging in Halloween as well. You know, co-worker, you know, friend, associate, family member. Yeah, they need to know what's going on. All right. All right. Abstract. Who's wearing who? This study provides a comprehensive cultural historical analysis of Halloween from its roots in ancient Celtic, what we call Samhain, right? We said Samhain, but it's Samhain. Observances through Christian liturgical adaptation and into its present commercial and pop cultural expression. Drawing from historical, anthropological, folkloric, and religious studies, it argues that Halloween's core symbolic system, costuming, lantern carving, offerings, ritualized fear, and liminality remains functionally intact despite secularization. That's what Christian is. Christianity is a secularization of the messianic movement from the Bible that was started by Jews. Halloween today is not merely a secular festivity, but a cultural continuation of ancestral rites regarding the boundary between life and death, community identity, and supernatural appeasement performed now unconsciously and often without ancestral claim, meaning that is not your culture. Your ancestors did not create that. But yet you're taking on somebody else's culture. You're culturally misappropriating this holiday. It is not yours. But the spirits, those dead ancestors, on that day, when you put that, they are wearing you. You're not wearing something to represent Halloween. They're actually wearing you. You become their puppet of fear, their puppet of horror, their puppet of rites and rituals that keep their name alive by you maintaining and preserving and then practicing a secularized version of their rites and rituals, unbeknownst to you. Damn. Okay. All right, I'm just taking my time with it. Right? Or theological alignment. This act constitutes arguably ritual reenactment and cultural appropriation with spiritual implications for participants who do not claim Celtic cosmology or Catholic theology. Are you any of those things? If not, then why are you doing this? Okay. Let me see which ones. I'm going to go through a few of them. You want the rest of it, you got to go and cop it off the Patreon when I put the polish on. All right, cool. All right, introduction to Night We Borrow. Let's go take a look at the introduction. Halloween is a night of mask, but it's also a night about mass, cultural, psychological, and spiritual. The modern celebration, trick-or-treating, horror entertainment, costume performance emerges from an ancient ritual matrix concerned with death, identity, and the unseen world. The child in a superhero outfit knocking on a neighbor's door participates unknowingly in a cultural continuum, stretching back more than 2 millennia. A ritualized exchange once intended not for candy, but to appease spirits and secure protection from forces beyond comprehension. Today, plastic pumpkins glow with battery-powered LEDs, yet they carry forward a practice once designed to ward off Roman dead, fairies, and malevolent beings. Households decorate tombstones and skeletons for aesthetic, yet reenact a time when dead walked and the living defended themselves. To call this innocent is half truth. To call it evil is simplistic. To call it ritual reenactment, that's honest. The paper exposes that Halloween is a ritual performance inherited without consent or context, and that cultural participation without understanding carries both ethical and spiritual implications. Man, I don't know if you're liking this. I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna stop. Y'all let me know if you're enjoying it. I don't know if y'all liking it. I'm gonna take my time. I don't know if y'all like it. I don't know if y'all like it or not. I don't know. Hit one if you're enjoying it. Hit one. You know, if you enjoy it, hit one, and we'll keep going. Just gotta know if y'all following. I guess I don't know if y'all liking what y'all. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know some people are probably leaving. I saw 4 people just drop off right now. I mean, information, once you know it, you're held accountable. To know to do good and to do it not, that is sin. Scripture says that. I didn't say that. Okay, y'all saying keep going. All right, we keep going. All right, let's go. Brief but impactful. Samhain, or Samhain, as some of y'all call it, the Celtic midnight of summer's end. Samhain or Samhain, meaning summer's end, was not merely seasonal, it was cosmological. This was no festival of pumpkins and playful ghosts. It was a cosmic hinge point where time inverted, order loosened, and the invisible world saturated the visible. Held between October 31st and November 1st, Samhain marked the Celtic New Year, signifying agricultural death and winter hardship, heralded the return of ancestral spirits. Because when you partake in this rite of passage, you are keeping the ancestral spirits alive. You are inviting them in your presence. You no longer have a sacred domain of blessings and a patron deity that's protecting because you're violating that border of protection. So therefore, the deity removes itself, and now the spirits that want to invade, now they have jurisdiction. Okay. Require ritual action to protect the living. You don't even know the right to protect yourself from these spirits. So why y'all engaging in it? Why your family and friends and co-workers engaging in it? Why your church engaging? Why your pastor not saying nothing about it? Why your moray turning a blind eye to it? Why are they doing that? Maybe they have something to gain from this. Classical sources, early medieval Irish texts, and archaeological evidence attest that Samhain or Samhain was a structured ritual period, not informal celebration. Its core themes remain present in today's Halloween. Samhain, meaning season of death. Modern equivalent, skeleton, decor, graveyard themes. Liminality, costumes, border crossing identity play, spirit appeasement, trick or treat, ritual logic, communal fire, decorative lights, jack-o'-lantern glow. The modern festival is not a replacement. It is a continuation in a new costume. I gotta fix my grammatical error there. Ritual liminality, when worlds touch. Anthropologists define liminality as a threshold space where ordinary identity dissolves and transformation becomes possible. Samhain or Samhain was a seasonal liminal state where boundaries between life and death thinned, spirits roamed amongst the living, fate became visible through divination, chaos briefly triumphed over order, because that's what happens on this day. Kids run around doing pranks, throwing eggs, being mischievous, causing damage. What is invoking this in these children to do that? Even adults partaking in it. It's because that line, that thin border between the living and the dead is like this now. And now those spirits want to come on in, but they can only come in through invitation. So if you engage in rituals and the necessary rites of passage, whether you know you're doing it or not, you are now removing the veil, lifting the veil, allowing that spiritual essence to come through, and then now they take over. This is why this behavior is unusual. You don't see it the day before, you don't see it the day after, but you see it on that day. Is that by coincidence? Okay. This framework clarifies Halloween's persistent themes: ghosts, spirits, witches, divination games, nighttime wander, mischief, and disorder. I remember back in the day on Halloween when I was in high school, they would always bring in a Ouija board. Now, there's a psychological and scientific explanation for how the piece moves, but for those of us with spiritual eyes, we know what's going on for real. Science is just attempting to have a paradigm to resolve the phenomenon, what we call the observed phenomenon, that there was no previous precedent and the scientific literature community to account for. But those with spiritual eyes, we know what's going down. We know the intention and the heart of those who are bringing it there, fortune telling, divination, etc. Ouija boards are purchased the most on Halloween than any other day of the year. Tarot cards, divination, clairomancy. This stuff is done more on this day in America, namely also in Black communities, than any other day of the year. Wild work. Modern America has secularized these into play, but play does not erase origin. It only masks it. The child laughing in a costume stands on a stage built by ancestors who trembled in the dark and prayed the dead would pass them by. This was a terrifying day. And y'all don't even have the proper sigils. Y'all don't even have the proper ritual methods and the proper artifacts and heirlooms to protect you on this day. Only when you engage in it. When you don't engage in it, you're unharmed, you're untouched. We don't engage in it, so it doesn't bother us. But those who engage in it, yeah. Fire, fate, and fear. Ritual technologies of Samhain or Samhain. Samhain rites included bonfires on hilltops. Why? For purification and protection. Hearth extinguishing and rekindling, which represents cosmic renewal cycle. Animal sacrifice, appeasement, and divination. You know, more inhumane harm is done to animals on this day than any other day. You think that's by coincidence? Divination rituals, marriage, death, and harvest fate, feasting and offerings, hospitality to spirits and ancestors. Modern equivalents persist. The ancient rite, sacred bonfires, jack-o'-lanterns, yard lighting displays. You know when you light up your yard on Halloween, or put those Halloween lights out, you know you are simulating actual candles being put out on your yard and inviting the, okay. All right. It's an invocation ritual. That's what you're performing. All right. Sacrifice, symbolic through candy offerings. Because now when you give candy, that's an offering. And you're not giving it to the child. You're actually giving it to whatever entity they are donning and the spirit that's behind that. That is who you're giving the offering to, not that actual child. Because if it was that actual child, they wouldn't be in costume. And the only reason you give it to them because they're in a cute costume. Oh, this is so cute. They give you a little kitty there. More kids are poisoned by candy on this day than any other day of the year. Halloween. And you want to put your children on the front line for death. Okay. I'm just saying, man. It is what it is. I ain't make the rules. I'm just calling it what it is. Spirit hospitality, children as proxies for spirits. Yup. Divination, tarot, or Ouija, party, fortune rituals. I've mentioned this already. We do not call it sacrifice. We call it treats. But the structure remains the same. Mass spirits in the human threshold. Costumes are the most visible symbol of contemporary Halloween. Yet the practices is not whimsical in origin. It was defensive magic. Ancient Celtic communities believe hostile spirits roam freely during Samhain or Samhain. Humans wore animal skins, hides, and terrifying masks, not to celebrate the spirits, but to evade them, to confuse, mimic, or frighten them away. The ancient purpose, evasion of malevolent spirits. Modern behavior, disguises and costumes. Communal identity, dissolution. Who are you tonight? Temporary freedom from social roles, cosplay and behavioral license. Spirit deception, horror themed mask. This was ritual anonymity, a metaphysical cloaking device. Modern costumes, while often framed as mere entertainment, still enact identity suspension, role disassociation, behavioral license, and transgression without consequence. This is all a psychological thing as well. Psychologically, this echoes what Jung termed the shadow self, the mask behind the mask, the archetype hidden beneath civilization. Even secular costume play remains a ritual descent into alternate identity. What time is it? Okay, I think I'm gonna stop after this one. Let me see. Is this the one I'm gonna stop at? No, I'm gonna do 2 pages. I'm gonna do these 2 pages for you. I'm gonna do 6 and 7, and then we're gonna stop off on 7. I'm gonna wrap up. Offerings, hospitality, and the ancestral dead. Where candy now sits in bowls, there once sat loaves, milk, fruits, meats, and seats for visiting ancestors. Celtic communities set places at tables for the returning dead, left food outside, or disturbed offerings to protect their homes. Spirits not honored were believed to retaliate, bringing sickness, misfortune, or crop failure. The Samhain offering, spirit food offerings, is today candy distribution. Beggar soul cakes became trick or treat. Spirit mischief if unfed, tricks when candy is refused, and night wanderers blessed. Children perform the same ritual path. When a child says trick or treat, they reenact a liturgical formula. Grant offering, receive blessing. Refuse offering, invoke mischief. This is ritual economy, not mere play. And to those who say it's only pretend, anthropologist Victor Turner's reply is fitting. Ritual is made real by participation, not belief. Does that matter if you believe it or not? The fact that you participate in it is what makes it an actuality. I took time to put this together for y'all, man. One, to make it short, concise, and impactful, bold and provocative. And I want to put it in a tone that is relative and not overly scholarly and academic. Do you understand now? Modern celebrants do not believe spirits roam the streets, but they perform the ancient mechanisms as if they do. Okay, let's stop here. I'm going to stop here on the Christian part of it. There's more to go, but I'm going to leave it up for y'all to go read. There's like 16 more pages left. All right. But anyway. Transition from pagan feast to Christian doctrine. The church confronted Samhain not through prohibition, but absorption. Strategic placement, 7th century Pope Boniface the fourth, establishes All Saints' Day, originally in May. 8th century Pope Gregory III moves it to November 1st, and later All Souls' Day, November 2nd, is codified. The church rebranded a liminal season, pagan function, appeasing dead spirits. Christian strategy, praying for souls in purgatory. Honoring ancestors, Christian strategy, honoring saints. Household offerings from the pagan function. Soul cakes is the Christian strategy. Spirit encounters from pagan functions. Saints and martyrs, meditation in the Christian strategy. Samhain became All Hallows Eve or Halloween. But not all was absorbed. Catholic theologians expressly described the window around All Hallowtide as a time when souls and spirits could draw near, a conceptual echo of the Samhain cosmology. Medieval church writings affirmed the threshold. Medieval homilies and penitential manuals referred to souls released briefly for prayer and memory, bells rung to protect villages, and candles lit lest the dead walk unguided. The theological justification changed, the ritual structure remained. Okay. All right. I'm just saying. Okay. And there's more to go. I read off the rest of for you up earlier, but All Hallowtide sanctification of threshold. All Hallowtide is October 31st, November 2nd, formalized Samhain's spiritual cycle into All Hallows Eve, confrontation with spirits in preparation. All Saints' Day, honor the triumphant dead. All Souls' Day, pray for the souls in purgatory. Soul cakes and rote liturgy. Medieval British communities baked soul cakes marked with crosses to be exchanged for prayers for the dead, children, the poor, and mendicants. Went door to door singing, a soul cake, pray for the soul, all in heaven lake. Replace prayer with joke or costume performance, replace cake with candy, and the structure remains intact. Medieval souling, bread offering. Modern trick-or-treat, candy. Medieval souling, prayer exchange. Modern trick-or-treat, performance exchange. Medieval souling, blessing requested. Modern trick-or-treat, reward requested. Medieval souling, sanctioned door-to-door ritual, same pattern today in the modern trick-or-treat fashion. The ritual survived, remain the currency. Night of Saints is now become Night of Specters. Ironically, the Christian attempt to purify the season preserved and spread the festival globally. Halloween today owes its survival not only to Celtic folklore, but to church liturgy. Thus, participation without acknowledgement is not neutrality. It is inheritance by neglect. I want to make sure I have some great phrases that will stick it home after every bit of information is shared. Okay. I'm going to stop here. There's a lot more. And I got to polish it before I make it public for y'all. But y'all keep this because y'all need it every Halloween, right? In the back, we have some Celtic priests. There's some dead ancestors of the Celtic priests. And when our children dress up, they're inviting these spirits to come through. And they buy a bonfire with a jack-o'-lantern right there. These are all parts of the ritual, right? That's inviting these spirits behind them to come on in. Come on in. Get comfortable. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop from there. Okay. So, family, hopefully, the information we shared was bold enough for you to understand the cultural misappropriation of Halloween or Hallows Eve. During this time of year, the veil is lifted when we have the collective ritualistic practice of the ancient Celts being performed in modern times. We are inviting these spirits in via that veil that is now being lifted, and we invite them in. This is why when we get the Silver Scrolls pendant, whether the necklace or whether the keychain, this is for us a talisman of Yah's blessing upon our person. This keeps these spirits from engaging with us. This reminds us to keep these statutes, these laws, and these commandments. Our fringes do the same. When we reenact the things of Yah and the things that our ancestors have performed, we protect ourselves. We create a sacred space, a sanctum around us and in our home, in which these spirits are not invited, which our children are not overtaken by the mischief that Halloween brings. So when we understand this, we have an obligation not only to refrain from participation, but to share the information with others so they themselves can wake up to the truth, be conscious and aware, and say, hey, now that you're aware, if you continue to engage, it's because you want to be part of somebody else's culture. Neo0, yes, I do. Email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. All right. So I'm going to end off here. If y'all are interested in getting this, sign up for the Patreon, www.patreon.com/Divine Prospect. Become a free member. You can do that. That's fine. Or a paid member to get you access to the other things that we have on there that free members cannot get. And get this book. If you are not a paid member, that's fine. Sign up for free. I'll make it available for free. I got to put some polish on it. And once the polish and editing is done, y'all can get it for free. I just wanted to show it to y'all. This is in the beta stage of it. Right? It's not finished yet. But I put it in the beta stage just so I can read some from it so you can kind of see what's in it. And that way, the information that's shared can be delivered right to your soul. Pay it forward. Don't participate in this. It's nothing to do with us or the goal or anything else we seek to do. It actually holds us back as a community when we engage in somebody else's culture. Okay. All right, then. And if you're interested in getting a Silver Scroll pendant, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com or click that link in the description to get yours directly. If y'all are interested in this shirt, because I'll be wearing shirts, some of y'all be asking what those shirts. This is New Testament believers, be like Paul, a Torah keeper to the end. This goes into Acts chapter 21, where it shows that Paul kept the rite of the Nazarene. He did this to prove that he lives in observance of the law from Numbers chapter 6. This shirt right here is a testimony of its own. You ain't got to say a word. It'll testify of the truth on your behalf without you opening up your mouth. If you're interested in one of these, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. All right. Love you, family. Thank you for watching. This was a brief session just to impart this information into you so you can share with others. Don't let friends enjoy Halloween. What they do, they become the wall to protect them away from these spirits that are seeking to take not just them, but also their children. All right. Sign up on a Patreon, www.patreon.com/divine prospect. Should be the end of the day. You'll be able to access this and know what's really good. Now, I hear some trick-or-treaters outside already, outside of my house, and be trying to come to my door. Now, I didn't put my sign on yet because I was working on this for y'all for this show. But typically, I'll tape a sign up, which I'm going to do once we end this session. I'm going to tape a sign up, letting them know Halloween is not celebrated here. And this little QR code to lead them to this channel so they can get the truth, or this video in particular. Right? All praise to the Most High. All right, family. I love you. Thank you for watching. Enjoy yourselves tonight. How do we enjoy ourselves? We know this is the Sabbath, so we're going to get into our prayers, our meditation, our worship of Yah. We're going to make sure the house is blessed and protected from these spirits that's outside the house. Do not invite none of these trick-or-treaters in your home. They will bring those spirits inside your house. Keep them on the opposite side of the threshold. Because the moment they stepped across that, you've invited the spirit in. Just like that movie. Remember that movie Sinners? You think it's talking about vampires? Nah. It's telling you some ancient old ritual. And how these spirits can affect you is when you invite them in. Don't invite them in. Don't invite them in. I don't care how nice they sound, how charismatic they may be. Don't let them put a foot in that door. All praises. Facts. Doesn't matter. We still got to share the information. All right. Lift up our voice like a trumpet. Show my people their sins and their transgressions. That's our job. We're just the messenger. Love you, family. Thanks for watching. Peace and shalom.